It's that time again. New what if, and yeah. Before I start with, I just drank some water. I would like to know if you know what you guys would like to see with the channel. Whether you want to see new what ifs that you guys recommend as the Momoshiki one was one that wasn't literally the one that someone recommended, but it was close to it. He asked for it was someone called the Rat. Now shout out to you, but you need to stop spamming with the what ifs rule. Like I had to mute one of your accounts. Like bro, 10 of the same copy and paste. It ain't it, bro. But I'm sorry if I'm taking your time here, but or my time here. But I just like to say or ask whether you guys want other new ifs, like if you guys could you know comment down below what ifs you want, and I shall get around to it eventually. And anyways, I hope you all enjoy this new what if, and we'll get straight into it now. um of course, this is as you've seen from the title, what if Naruto went into a coma for 4 years. We begin this what if with Naruto being born as per normal, and of course, he was neglected by everyone in the village. Anyway, sorry, had to stop there. I had to do something. Um, Naruto would be neglected as per normal, and his whole life would be questioning it. Naruto would now be 3, and he was quite the smart one. He's a big brain, uh, like brain. If I didn't mention it yet, like he realized that this isn't normal. There must be a reason, and so he dug into it a bit. Although just being a 3-year old, Naruto had the mind of at least a 14-year-old. Yes, that's he's just that big brain. And anyways, now of course, Naruto would be saddened finding out that you know he is the Naruto's Jinchuriki. He's not sad that he has the Naruto's itself. However, he's saddened that the people would treat him as a beast. Although he's just a normal human, just like them, he's a villager too. He's part of the Leaf Village, and he doesn't understand why. Just why. Naruto would like to know why. However, he can't really just go and ask people, as every time they see him, they give him that glare, when as if they're about to kill him or something. Naruto's always scared. However, Naruto just keeps living his life as best as he could, smiling at everyone he sees. Of course, all the times, every time he smiles at anybody, of course, he did return it with a glare, a menacing one, with malice in it. Of course, Naruto would continue just smiling and walking away. Of course, in his heart, he felt sad. He didn't want to smile anymore. He wanted to get rid of it all. Kind of wanted to kill himself, to be honest. But anyways, now Naruto, who was looking forward to his birthday this year, as he thought that maybe people might change. You never know. He wished they changed. However, that was quite a mistake from Naruto. Naruto would be walking around the village and giving the smile to everyone, and the people were glaring at him with extreme amount of malice, more than usual, and Naruto was confused on why. However, he didn't want to question it, as he knows that if he does, it could end really bad. And then now Naruto just walks away. Eventually, a few drunk villagers were like, "It's time to avenge the fourth. Kill the brat." As they say that, they all rush towards Naruto. Naruto's eyes widen, and he realizes that he's finished. He's finished. And anyways, now Naruto starts running away as fast as possible, taking corners, shortcuts that he knew. And anywho, now Naruto has studied the Leaf Village for most of his life, as he was just walking around, and he never really had friends to hang around with. So Naruto would just explore on his own, and he would know the village like the back of his palm, and he knew every single nook and cranny of the village, and he knew a few secret places that not many should know. And anyways, now Naruto would keep running and find a place while the villagers run away from him. And Naruto thought he was safe. However, as he tried to get away, a a stray dog, started barking at him. This caught the attention of one of the drunken men, and of course, he screamed at Naruto, saying that you're dead. As he says that, of course, this catches the attention of other men, and they all start rushing at Naruto. Naruto is beaten on that day brutally, to an extent that Naruto could not walk afterwards. The only reason he was actually saved was because a person saw it, and she decided to report it to her mother. And her mother decided to help Naruto out, as she knew how hard it must be for Naruto. Naruto would then actually be rushed to the hospital, as the Hokage would be alerted of this, and he was utterly well, he was pissed. He didn't really know what to do. He can't really stop the villagers from keep hating Naruto, as that's something natural. It's a cycle of hatred that is one of his students, one of his most prized students, is trying to stop, and clearly he can't stop it himself, and he knows that. I'm sorry about that. And now, of course, Naruto the next day would have recovered quite quickly, thanks to the Naruto's actually slightly healing his injuries, especially the internal ones, the ones that were really deep. The external ones, like scratches and little cuts, those could heal on their own, but the Naruto's didn't really have much ability to help Naruto. Naruto's now full, and this was the catalyst for Naruto to start training. He never had friends, he never had family, he never had anyone that truly loved him. So, what's the point of, well, just, you know, being idle and doing nothing for to, protect himself? There is no one that would protect him, so he can't really rely on anyone else. The Hokage came in to see Naruto, and he sees that Naruto is actually starting to do push-ups. The Hokage asks why, and Naruto replies by saying, "There is only one person that truly actually cares for me, and that is you, old man. I don't really see anyone else that truly cares for me. So I can't just stand by and allow this to happen. No one will protect me. You're too busy, and I don't blame you, as you are the Hokage. However, if I stay idle and allow this to happen, I won't survive another year. If I have to protect myself, I will. I don't need anyone." As he says that, Naruto's voice darkens as his eyes start watering, as he really did want people in his life. He wanted friends, he wanted a family, but clearly Naruto sees no way out of this misery. Literally, Naruto even broke down to the Hokage afterwards, as the Hokage stopped Naruto from training, as clearly he's injured, and he told him to at least rest up before doing so. He asked what's going on through Naruto's mind, and Naruto tells him everything, all the little, well, every single information, everything from his mind. He just lets it all out. Naruto is finally able to, well, tell someone about it. All the feelings that he's had, ending it all, just wanting to end it, all the suffering, all the pain, all the loneliness. If if he dies, is there anyone that's going to mourn his death? Is there really? So what is the reason for him to still be, breathing? It's just a waste of space, like the villagers say, a waste of oxygen. Anyways, now, of course, this made the Hokage really angry, as he says, "Naruto, there are plenty of people in this world that will eventually come to like you, or maybe already like you. They care for you, they might not show it, but they really do. Especially the person who actually helped you out that day. If it wasn't for that little girl, I would have never found out that you were in that situation, and you'd probably die. You would have probably died." Naruto's eyes widened and asks who it was, but the Hokage didn't know himself, as it was an anonymous tip from someone. The handwriting was unrecognizable, and so the Hokage just let it go, as clearly he had more important matters in his hand, Naruto. Now, Naruto would be happy that someone actually did care, but is that really enough? Like, the person who didn't even bother to actually say, mention their name, clearly not wanting Naruto to find out who they were. Maybe they were just doing it out of pity. Who knows? Naruto does mention this to the Hokage, but the Hokage says, sometimes you gotta see, well, you gotta look at things from a different point of view. Look at it as a blessing. Maybe that person really does love you. Maybe they have a crush on you. Who knows? Naruto then blushes a bit. Of course, he doesn't know, anything about this kind of stuff, but still, Naruto says, "Okay, okay, whatever." As he says that, Naruto would begin training the next day, as his recovery rate was on a whole different, scale or level to anyone else's. And anywho, now Naruto for the next 2 weeks would be just training physically, doing normal like taijutsu training or martial arts. And anyways, now Naruto's training would actually, well, pay off, as clearly he's gotten much stronger. His stamina is much higher, and anywho, Naruto's quite smart as well. So he reads a lot of books, realizing that, Naruto's utilizing, not realizing, utilizing that brain of his, that big brain. But anyways, now Naruto would still have those thoughts in his mind with, I just and maybe there's no need of doing all of this. Naruto is still quite depressed inside. He doesn't want to show it to anyone, but he's just bottling it up for now. And the Naruto is seeing all of this. The Naruto actually shakes his head, saying, and actually speaking for once, and telling Naruto, "Hey kid, you may think that bottling it up is the best option for you, but really, do you really want to just keep it to yourself? Do you really not want anyone else to help you out, to not find out?" Of course, Naruto was surprised that the Narutos would even talk to him, and he replies by saying, "You wouldn't even care if I died, so don't get in my way." The Narutos realize that Naruto is just the same as anyone else, but he can understand why Naruto, well, was a bit like them, as clearly he had the worst life out of all of his Jinchuriki, if he's being honest. And anyways, now of course, Naruto continues his training for a whole year. His personality has changed. Well, not really, but still, Naruto pretty much is now 5. And on his birthday, Naruto was walking in the village and he was just looking away from people. He was scared of the people right now. Although he's much stronger than most more civilians, yes, only at the age of 5, still he didn't want to risk anything. And anyways, now of course, and well, once some villagers tried to follow Naruto into a corner or surround him, Naruto actually jumped on a rooftop, which surprised many people as they thought that maybe this is the Naruto's and they started screaming for help. As Anbu arrived, and clearly they saw Naruto doing nothing wrong, and these Anbu were actually quite, well, they were quite sympathetic to Naruto after what happened a year ago, and they just say, "Oh, shut up, you guys." Anyways, and they more disperse as Naruto just goes on with his day. Naruto continues this kind of training for a whole other year. So when he's actually 6 now, Naruto would actually start taking scrolls from the Hokage, as the Hokage would allow it. Naruto, at one point, well, during this one year, he did realize that someone has been following him for quite a long time, for a whole year, in fact, as he's realized only when he was 5. And anyways, now this person, of course, it was actually Tsuki, who was following Naruto around, and it was actually Sasuke's sister. If you didn't realize, that was the person who actually helped Naruto out all those, well, 2 years ago. And anyways, Naruto actually realized that as well. And one day, once he's done with his training, as Tsuki was about to run back, he actually used his body flicker to stop her in her tracks and tell her that, you know, there's no need of hiding. I owe you big time. You pretty much saved my life. I'm pretty sure your name is Tsuki. I made my research. Now, wanna sit down and have a drink with me? As he says that, he brings out 2, well, cans of tea. The Japanese thing, innit? No stereotype, of course, but like in all animes and that. Now, obviously, Naruto, well, I mean Tsuki, accepted as she actually did like Naruto. She felt sad, but at the same time, she actually started liking him. She liked Naruto, had no friends, as clearly she spent most of her time just looking at Naruto. And anyways, now Naruto and Tsuki will socialize for a little bit, and Naruto asks, does Tsuki train here and there, maybe sometimes? And Tsuki says yes, all the times. When the At night, of course, when no one's looking, especially her, well, twin brother, Sasuke. And of course, Naruto knows about Sasuke. He's seen him around, and anyways, now he says, "Oh, really? But why would you hide it?" Of course, she then says that she doesn't want to show what she's really capable of, as she already has the three-toed Sharingan, and she's unlocked it thanks to him. Naruto actually knows how the Sharingan is unlocked and everything through pain, and he's like, wow. So there were people in this world that really liked me. As Suki says, obviously, Naruto keeps a cool face, but inside he's into his smiling. And the Naruto's actually says, well, the old man wasn't wrong, was he? Naruto's consoles Naruto as he's grown to like Naruto quite a bit, feeling a bit, well, mostly pity for him, but still he started liking Naruto as a person. He seemed serious. Now, Naruto and Tsuki became friends, and those two were their first friends, well, each other's first friends. Now, Naruto and Tsuki would begin training until Naruto was actually, well, 8, and Tsuki as well. Tsuki would be just a bit older than Naruto, and then now. The two were training one day, and as they were training, there was one incident, and of course, this was right before the Uchiha massacre as well. There was an incident with the Cloud actually infiltrating with some high-ranking shinobi into the Leaf Village. Naruto was quite strong by now. He'd be probably tuning level, but anyways, now Naruto and Tsuki were training in the Forest of Death as no one really went in there, and this was the perfect place for the shinobi from the Cloud who were actually trying to steal the Scroll of Sealing. Um, and they did, luckily, but they were hiding from the Anbu. It wasn't an announcement made publicly, but still there was high surveillance, and many Anbu were after them. They couldn't find them. They couldn't track them down as they were quite stealthy. And Naruto and Tsuki realized, and they were both hid behind trees. As the two realized that there's something wrong. That's the Scroll of Sealing, which Naruto has been stealing some jutsus from, but we don't mention that. And of course, Tsuki knows that as well, that Naruto, that's the Scroll of Sealing, and so they pretty much. Sorry about that. Shitty shit. Naruto and Tsuki look at each other and nod, and pretty much with hand signs, as they know, sign language, they signal to each other that they need to, you know, stop this guy. Clearly, he's from the Cloud, as they know what they look like, the headband and their clothing as ninja clothing, and clearly he has the scroll of sealing, which belongs to the Leaf Village. They both nod at each other, and as they were about to make a move, Tsuki steps on a branch and makes a noise which alerts the S rank shinobi. And there wasn't just one, by the way, there were multiple ones. There were at least four, and the four start, literally attack Tsuki at the same time, and they all, pretty much tried to cut Tsuki's neck off. Tsuki was able to dodge two of them, which was quite impressive. However, the second one cut her cheek, as she barely was able to avoid it. But the fourth one, sorry, the third one cut her cheek, but the fourth one was about to cut her head off as Naruto gets in the way and pretty much gets cut near near the shoulder, barely missing the neck as he was trying to save well, Tsuki, and pretty much Naruto then looks at them, saying, "You don't hurt the only person, one of the only people that's precious to me." As he says that, he clenches his fist and pretty much lets out a lot of bloodlust. And anyways, now Naruto's eyes turn more red as the Naruto's was taken over a bit. The Naruto's didn't really hate Naruto. In fact, he actually helped him out a little bit by giving him a bit of chakra, as clearly he knows that Naruto needs to hold them off for long enough for the Anbu to realize that they're there. Anyways, the sudden spark in Naruto's chakra alerted the army that there was something wrong, and so they headed towards the well, um, Forest of Death. Naruto took on the four shinobi, the four S rank shinobi, at the same time, as the four were quite strong, like really strong. I'm not going to mention names because they were random shinobi, but anyways, now, of course, Naruto was actually able to kill one, which pissed off the other three, as Naruto was using a lot of the chakra from the most of the, not most of, but a lot of chakra from the Nine Tails. As like, what I mean by a lot is that enough to give him a whole entire tail. And anyways, Naruto was about to attack the second one, but all three of them do a combination attack by using a fireball jutsu and a wind net, and also a lightning prison, which paralyzes Naruto, and Naruto gets hit by a fireball jutsu, which was actually boosted by a whole entire, well, a pretty strong wind jutsu, and it created a massive explosion, which Naruto was quite injured from, but and also the one of the third one who actually paralyzed Naruto actually started strangling Naruto and stealing his chakra. Most of his chakra was nearly gone until Tsuki wasn't having it anymore, and she got into the fight. She wasn't going to stay there idolizing or just idling there, and pretty much attacked the one that was actually strangling Naruto and cut his neck, and pretty much he died. And Naruto started coughing as Tsuki was about to get killed by the other two. Naruto gets in the way and gets stabbed, one in the shoulder, one blade in the shoulder and the other one in the stomach near the liver. And anyways, now this caused Tsuki to think that Naruto would have died there, and these were worse injuries than the ones that he had during his fourth birthday. And anyways, now, of course, Naruto realized that he has to use the little chakra he has remaining to kill them here, and as he does, he pretty much allows the Nine Tails to take over temporarily, and he goes into his Three Tails form, and although the Nine Tails heals Naruto's chakra, he can't replenish it as that is out of his capability because of how strong the seal still is. Although he can, bring out Three Tails, that was only a temporary thing. The max he could probably do is two, but that's still like really hard for the Nine Tails to just give Naruto enough chakra to do Two Tails, as the Naruto isn't in cooperation with Naruto. Just saying, he just wants to help Naruto out here because he saw how strong Naruto is, and he saw that the two weren't even involved in this conflict, and they were attacked. And although he knows that the two were about to attack them, but he believes that these two are quite strong enough to actually defeat even four, well, strong as Johnny is like them, and of course the S rank shinobi. But anyways, now he kills the last remaining two, but Naruto's chakra was depleting, or was literally at his last straws, and the fight wasn't longer than maybe 30 seconds, which was all that took for many Onbu to arrive, and they saw the massacre as Tsuki was in tears with Naruto's body in her hands, in her arms, as they weren't really too injured. Naruto was injured, of course. He was healed fully, but in reality, he wasn't, as he took the most damage because his chakra was literally fully gone. Naruto would be hospitalized again, but this time it wasn't just it. Tsuki was saddened by this, and she unlocked a Mangekyo, but the Anbu didn't really see, as once she saw them, she turned off her Sharingan, and the blood from her eyes seemed like blood from the shinobi. And anyways, now, and she was covered in blood from the other guy, from the second shinobi that was about to kill Naruto, strangling him, but she killed. And anyways, now, of course, Naruto was in a coma after this, and Tsuki would visit him every day, and eventually the Uchiha massacre would still happen, and Tsuki's family, except for Mikoto, didn't know that, she actually was hanging out with Naruto. They always thought that she would like to be alone, but in reality, she was always in the company with Naruto, and she was hit quite hard once, her whole clan was killed, and although she knew that her older brother must have had and also, sorry, Itachi knew as well, but Itachi knew that this would, clearly affect Tsuki a lot. As first she loses Naruto to a coma, but now her whole entire family to him. And once she does see Itachi over the parents' body, and she was pointed to Tsukiyomi just like Sasuke, she was actually able to well, withstand it, to Itachi to let her out, as Itachi then actually sheds a tear right before disappearing. Tsuki was breathing heavily, but she saw that one tear, and she realized that there must be a reason. She didn't hate her brother for doing it, although she wanted to. She knew that it wasn't his fault, and so what well she followed what her heart was telling her to do, not to hate him. And anyways, now she took Sasuke to the hospital, and Sasuke woke up like a month later, and he returned to school and well to the academy. Suki has been attending, but she changed quite a bit. Now, during this coma, Naruto wouldn't just be there sleeping. Naruto would actually be well training. The Ninetales would take Naruto on as his own well little guinea pig, as the Ninetales has never really had a challenger, a proper one, other than the fourth Hokage or Madara taking control of him, and is always Uchiha's. But he wants a proper fight, someone who can actually fight him one on one. And anyways, now he starts training Naruto, and he remembers everything that Naruto saw in the scroll of sealing. Maybe you might have not noticed, but the Ninetales is quite smart. But anyways, now, I mean, he did do that whole nuclear fusion thing in Boruto. But anyway, now of course we see Naruto train, and this wasn't just normal training. This was much harder training. Remember, Naruto is not in his physical body, and he's training mentally. So he's in his mind, trapped in his mind until his chakra replenishes uh, fully, and his chakra would replenish much faster if he was awake, but clearly he wasn't, and this all in a combination created Naruto's coma to be made Naruto's coma to be so long. That's why, and you know how Naruto has so much chakra. He just made it harder for Naruto's chakra to actually replenish that slowly. During these years, Tsuki has been training as well, and she's been visiting Naruto every single day. She even lives alone now, and she always blames herself for being weak, being paralyzed at that moment, and making that noise that Naruto is in this situation. And she always cries to him, and Naruto can feel her, but he can't really do anything, and he's always like, god damn, you know, she doesn't really deserve this. It's not her fault. Naruto was determined to become stronger, but anyways, now 4 years would pass, and Naruto would be quite strong, although his physical state wasn't the best, but his mental state was, and he learnt a lot. The Rasengan, of course, the Flying Raijin, he nearly mastered it, and he would be very very physical. Well, once his physique in the real world would go back to normal, his physique that he has in his mind would actually be attained by his actual body. Now Naruto could feel the day coming, and that day was actually 3 months before the well, sorry, not 3 months, 6 months before the graduation exam, or the right before the examination, and then the graduation day. Of course, this was right before that, and now, well, 6 months before that, not right before that. And Naruto, one day, while Tsuki was actually there, waiting, or just waiting out time, as she was sad. She hasn't seen Naruto, she hasn't heard Naruto's voice in so long. Has it changed? Has it remained the same? And out of nowhere, as she was actually holding Naruto's hand, she feels something squeeze, and Naruto then actually opens his eyes. Tsuki was in shock. At first, she had no words to say, but Naruto then actually, sits up and says, well, he actually asks Tsuki whether, she has no words to say to him. I mean, she's been visiting him for the past 4 years straight. Tsuki then actually breaks down that, telling Naruto everything, you know, confessing to Naruto everything that she had in her mind. She liked him, everything, and Naruto accepts all of it, and he understands that Tsuki must have been going through the same exact pain that he once went through, but he was deprived of that. Well, not deprived, but he was taken away from the world for 4 years. But Naruto's body was quite weak right now because he was living off of machines and that. But anyways, now and Tsuki would help him up as the doctors would rush in, and the Hokage would be very, very well happy to see Naruto again, and he would barge in. Same as Yuriko. Remember, they would have actually been in the academy by now, well, by the time Naruto was actually in, well, in that little accident. And anyways, now of course. Yuriko was quite worried for his student as he actually quite liked Naruto, but anyways, now Kakashi would visit him as he was an acquaintance of Naruto, and that was pretty much it. And of course, Ichiraku Ramen would come in saying, "Naruto, we've missed you so much." Naruto smiles, saying how, well, asking how they've all been, and Tsuki was the one who, was in the most shock as she's finally gotten something back. Her brother was actually quite distant from her, as he always was. And anyways, now, uh, Sasuke was always distant with Tsuki, as he was always admired, Itachi, and after what Itachi did, he just started hating him, and he kept to himself. He didn't even talk to her, and they no longer even live together. Remember, I did say she lives alone now, and she would actually be living in the same apartment that Naruto lived in. It would be hers now, as Naruto would have not been there for 4 years. But she didn't throw out anything that was Naruto's, and he didn't really have many things. All the money that he actually had would be spent on like ninja tools or clothing and ramen, and of course just essentials like groceries, as he doesn't have ramen all day long, every day. And anyways, now Naruto would then spend the next month rehab, re- in rehab. Yes, yes, come on, and pretty much after a month, he would actually return to the academy. No one remembered him except for two other people, which were actually, well, a few people, not two, only two. There were actually four, and in this case, it wouldn't be Hinata that Naruto to save Hinata, as he was actually just he never really met her, but it was actually Lee, so whatever. She did remember him, but she didn't really care much. But anyways, now she was happy that he was back. So it was five people that remembered him. But anyways, now Shikamaru, Choji, Kiba, and Shino remembered him as well. And they actually went up to Naruto during break, and they asked Naruto where has he been for the past 4 years. And they wouldn't have been told. No one would have been told about Naruto's coma. But of course, his presence would have been missed. Of course, when I say no one would have been told, the council knew and everything. But anyways, now Naruto then actually says, well, some things happened, and he had to leave for a while. But anyways, now Naruto doesn't smile anymore, although he was always smiling. They remember Naruto always smiling, and even when people like told. Called Naruto a demon like their parents, Naruto would always smile, but this time Naruto would be more serious. Naruto learned something new through the Naruto's, that 12 years ago, it wasn't him who attacked the Leaf Village. It was someone else controlling him. He won't tell him his parents' identity, as he wants Naruto to feel pain. And Naruto just shook his head, saying, Naruto never changes. And anyways, now, of course, Naruto would have actually become friends with these five, their friend group, as Tsuki was actually friends with them as well. Their little friend group would have been alright, and Ino would kind of be friends with Tsuki. But anyway, Sakura just didn't like Tsuki, as she thought that she was the only obstacle to Sasuke's prevail to the top. But anyways, now since there is Itsuki and Kiba, no one, or Sakura, no one was replaced here, and Naruto was actually never there. No, well, for most of the academy, he just joined randomly now, or he returned randomly now. But still, of course, Naruto, well, the people in the village were surprised that Naruto was still alive, and some people were pissed off. Some people were like, well, damn, the village has really been quite, well, empty without him. Of course, some people stopped hating him, but 90% of the village still, absolutely despised him, and they're like, God damn it, he's back. And anyways, now we would see Naruto continue his training with Tsuki, as like the old days, and Tsuki has gotten very strong, like very, very strong. And anyways, now Naruto would be extremely strong. However, he although him showing to Tsuki that he has a Rasengan, the Majestic Destroyer, Flame 5 Chocolate Natures and everything, still, and also Ice Release, because I love Ice Release. If you haven't realized, there is a trend of me giving Naruto Ice Release, or maybe Wood Release and Lava Release, but mostly Ice Release. Has I love that release. I can't lie. Still, it's just so cool. I wish I could do ice, but anyways, like imagine making ice randomly. But anyway, now of course, Naruto would have been able to match Tsuki, and Tsuki was confused. And she's like, "You've been in a coma for 4 goddamn years. How are you able to even keep up with me? I've been training for years. Like, what's going on here?" And Naruto says, "I never really stopped training. I mean, I was in a coma and I was aware of it. I was kind of awake at the same time. I could feel everything. I couldn't hear anything, but I could feel the people around me because I am a sensory ninja, by the way. And of course, Tsuki was confused and she's like, "How did you train?" And Naruto said, "You know that I am the Naruto's Jinchuriki, right?" She's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, the Naruto's kind of trained me to be his rival, as he wants a challenge to fight, and I promised him that I will, and so he's trained me ever since. He's taught me many things. He's even helped me learn how to do the Rasengan. All these shock niches were actually given by him because I only had one once I found out. And he's like, you know what, you're too weak with just one, and boom, in a click of a finger, he just gave him five. As he has, come on, he's a nine tools. He has powers, bro. He has magic. He's magical, man. Anyways, now, of course, and she was confused on why the Nantos would even do that. Isn't that like worse for him in case he like wants to break out? Isn't Naruto stronger? But anyways, the Nantos didn't really think about that, and he just wanted a challenge. But in reality, we all know the Nantos actually loves Naruto as he feels bad. Anyways, the Naruto has a more humane side to him here. And anyways, now of course, we would then see pretty much Naruto and Tsuki, everyone pretty much graduating. Rookie, the rookie of the year would actually be Sasuke, as Tsuki really didn't care about it. Ever since Naruto came back, she had better things to do, and Yuriko wasn't kind of too pissed off that Tsuki fell off from her position, but he did think that she would be the rookie of the year, and he knows that if Tsuki really tried, she would have been rookie of the year. And one more thing, Naruto probably would have actually been the rookie of the year as well, as he is a rival to Tsuki. He's seen how smart they both are, and he knows how smart Naruto was. The Hokage has told him many stories about Naruto. At the age of 4, he was already thinking like, you know, maybe a 14-year-old or something. And Naruto has the brains of a Hokage at this point. But anyways, now, if you haven't realized, Naruto is a lot similar to Itachi. Now, of course, we would go on to see Naruto pretty much being put in Team 7 with uh, as an extra. So Naruto would be the fourth member of Team 7, as his name was called at last. It was first Tsuki, Sasuke, Sakura as the last team, Team 7, and Naruto was confused and he was about to ask why is he not put in a team, but then Yuriko goes on to say, well, since most of the academy or this year's academy graduates were didn't have this extra person, as he disappeared for 4 years, or he had to leave for 4 years or take a break hiatus. He did come back the last year, 6 months before the graduation. Clearly he did better than some people, looking at Choji, Kiba, and even Ino and well, not Sakura's just brain in it. And then of course they all were like, God damn it, fam, allow it, it's the end of the academy, it just lets off. And anyways, now of course he goes on to say that he'll be put in Team 7 as you know it's it's what the Hokage decided, and this is because of Naruto being friends with Itsuki was one of the reasons, but and because they train together and they have good teamwork. But another thing is because Kakashi specifically asked for Naruto, as he felt bad that during that time Itachi was never there for Naruto, as well, like his father was there for him when he was left alone in this world. And then now he lost Rin, Obito, but Minato was always there until his death. Like, it was mad, and he was like, "Oh damn, what did I do for his son? Yo, I did nothing." And anyways, now he felt bad and he wanted to help Naruto, train and everything, and be his sensei. And he actually had a change He was no longer lazy about teaching Team Seven, and he actually wanted to teach them. Anyways, he wasn't going to be like, yeah, they're pretty good. They can learn themselves. But anyways, nah, like he did. But when he was in Team Seven, he learned many things on his own. But anyways, nah. Team Seven would meet up on the roof like 4 hours after the teams were announced. As Kakashi was still late. His latency was never going to stop. But anyways, Naruto and Tsuki. Well, Naruto's dream would actually be to become Hokage and change the view of, change the Shinobi world to make it a better place for everyone, including Tail Beasts. He clearly mentions that, and Dantos was very surprised, and he actually smiles inside in Naruto's mind, and is it reminds me of him every single day. The more time passes, the more he resembles the old man. And anyways, now of course, we would go on to see then Tsuki say that she actually never she wants answers for many things, but her real goal, well, her dream is to actually be able to have a happy family and have closure on what happened to her clan and why. Of course, and then Sasuke was like, "Well, I want to rebuild my clan. It's not a dream. I will make a reality, and I will kill a certain someone. My dislikes are many things, and my likes are not many things." And yeah, Sakura just looked at Sasuke the whole time, although she was quite surprised that Naruto was actually that cool. And anyways, now Naruto did change a lot, as his personality wasn't outgoing anymore, and it was more like shy and everything. But anyways, now you would go on to see Team 7 meet up the next day. Naruto would actually be living with Tsuki for now, as he didn't have a home. His home was actually taken by Tsuki, and Naruto's like, "God damn, I'm in a coma for 4 years and you take my home? That's kind of peak, you know what I mean?" But anyways, now, of course, he's happy that Tsuki actually kept everything nice and everything like he did, and you know, uh, he's happy that Tsuki allowed him to live with her, and the Hokage allowed it. And anyways, now as he knows how good of friends they were, but anyways, the bell test would be told, well, of course, a few hours later, as Naruto and Tsuki came late, and same as Kakashi. But anyway, now the bell test would actually be explained, and Sakura would still ask about why is there only like 3 bells and not 4, and Kakashi makes it clear that one person will return to the academy, and the rest will pass whoever gets the bells. But anyways, now this was quite concerning to Sakura. She's like, "Yo, what? God damn, I need to get a bell." And anyways, I shall leave it off of I'll leave it here, as clearly it's 9 o'clock. I need to edit, I need to upload, I need to revise, I need to shower, and you get ready for tomorrow. And yeah, literally, I have a lot of things to do today, and hope you'll enjoyed it. This was actually a wife I'm really enjoying to make. Of course, it's only been one part, but really, I'm enjoying this. It's been like I really enjoyed making the first ever. If Naruto was went into a coma, but now I'm really, really enjoying that, and I'm getting that feel for it again. And I remember those days. And anyways, I think that was during the time I had COVID or something. Yeah, I think it was nearing those COVID days and that. Yeah. Anyways, I hope you'll enjoy it. Please take care, stay safe. This was the King of Weebs, and my ducklings, you're all dismissed. I hope you'll please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you're all doing fine. And it's already February. My exams are in May 16th. They start on May 16th, and there's not much time left for me. 3 months and 13 days. We are in the end game, and I'll probably kill myself. And anyways, my ducklings, you're dismissed. And if I fail, I'll never see you guys again. Safe. Peace.